So what is ADHD? ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder. This is a disorder that affects people's attention, a lot of people's control. People have issues with impulsive behaviors. There's two categories when we're talking about ADHD, the inattentive side and the hyperactivity side. There is also a ADHD that combines both the inattentive and the hyperactivity. So what is inattentive? Inattentive is if you're having trouble just focusing on daily activities. Let's just say you're forgetting to do your homework or you're forgetting to pay the bills. You just miss small little details around the house, making small careless errors and mistakes in your daily life. You avoid mental demanding tasks. Sometimes you don't listen. You forget that you're in the moment. Maybe you get sucked into the doom scrolling of your phone and you're just toning everyone around you out. Sometimes you often lose things. So what about the flip side? What about hyperactivity? So this is what we really see when we see ADHD, especially in kids. Hyperactivity is just constantly moving, constantly fidgeting. So like if you're sitting there picking your fingers or maybe you're like rubbing your chin, picking your nails and biting your nails, having difficulty sitting still, talking a lot. So talking a lot is a sign of ADHD and hyperactivity. Having difficulties quitting a task, speaking out of turn and getting interrupted. So let's look, what does ADHD really look like? So during childhood, ADHD can be misinterpreted as bad behaviors. So we see a lot of kids that get put on a plan or get in trouble at school when in all actuality, it's their brain is just so hyper and running on an engine all the time. This is what ADHD does in childhood. During adulthood, ADHD can have a lot of other uh, issues, such as damaging your career. It can damage your relationships with other people. It can damage your self-esteem. Maybe you have low self-esteem because of ADHD. It often leads to like some poor organization and difficulties completing tasks. So is ADHD biological? Did my mom and dad give me ADHD? Well, maybe. ADHD is known to have a genetic role to be passed down from your parents to you. A person is more likely to develop ADHD if their parents have this disorder. Some environmental factors also play a role. And what we're really going to focus in on is a couple treatments that you can get to control and help your ADHD. There's two main roles and treatments that we look at when we're focusing on ADHD. We're looking at psychotherapy and medication. So, although there's no cure for ADHD because it's biological based and your brain structure is different, the neurons are firing differently in your brain. Those two methods can help control some of those symptoms. So, psychotherapy, what is that? Well, that's what I am. I'm a therapist. I do psychotherapy with clients. So therapy is for ADHD. It typically focuses on identifying the strengths and identifies the weaknesses. There's skill building, there's education, there's ways to reduce the symptoms. There's ways we can track your symptoms. There's a way we can track your symptoms and change those behaviors through different models of therapy. So this is for people that have a more mild case of ADHD. Some of those more severe cases may need medication, and that's okay. Those medications help calm those neurons firing in the brain and help slow the engine down a little bit, this that working engine in your brain. What's another treatment, a more holistic treatment? A more holistic treatment we can look at when we're talking about ADHD is looking at your diet and your exercise. A more holistic treatment we can look at is looking at your diet and your exercise. So let's look at your diet. What are some things you can eat? What are some things that you don't need to eat that will help your ADHD symptoms? There's some foods that emphasize attention, energy, and mood. These foods are things that are rich in protein. So, protein rich foods such as eggs, fish, chicken, yogurt, tofu, beans, lentil. Um, Protein at breakfast also helps focus and reduce the mid morning energy crashes. Complex carbohydrates are good for ADHD. So, things such as oats, brown rice, whole grain bread, sweet potatoes, these provide a sustained energy source. Fruits and vegetables are wonderful. Just look out for those that have those extra sugars in them. Healthy fats are really good, fatty fishes, nuts, seeds, avocado oils, olive oil. Omega-3 fatty acids. There's been a lot of research about omega-3 fatty acids being good for ADHD. And so there's some research that supports that taking omega-3 fatty acid supplements is also good. Foods to limit. Highly processed foods with lots of added sugar, sugary drinks, energy drinks, caffeine. Ooh, that's a hard one. And I'm sitting here drinking a coffee right now. Energy drinks and caffeine, coffee, if you have ADHD, need to be limited. Excessive ultra processed snacks. So basically anything that you get is that's in a box, anything that you get that's in the middle of a grocery store is probably not that good for you, unless you're on the vegetable aisle. The vegetable aisle is a pretty good one. So what's a common like meal structure you can do for ADHD? Let's think about if we wake up in the morning. What do kids get when they wake up in the morning a lot of times? Pop-Tarts, cereals, some type of quick sugary breakfast. But a good meal for breakfast would be something like eggs with some whole grain toast, some fruits, some vegetables. Maybe not vegetables for breakfast, but some of them might be okay. Some Greek yogurt with that protein source with some berries and nuts to fuel your day. What about lunch? Are we gonna go and eat pizza and eat uh, hot dogs, processed stuff? Well, maybe a better option would be eating something like some grilled chicken, some beans, some vegetables, some whole grains, even some rice, brown rice. Snacks. What do kids and what do adults love to grab? Sweets. I love a good cake. I love a good donut. But what would be better for if I had ADHD? Go grab an apple, put some peanut butter on it. Go grab some nuts and fruits, maybe even some popcorn, some cheese, some whole grains. Staying away from some of those highly processed carbohydrates. What about exercise? If you have ADHD, exercise is crucial. You need to exercise as much as possible to burn that energy off. So, an example workout plan, if you wanted to go work out and help control some of the ADHD symptoms that you have, get some cardio in. Get, 15 to 30 minutes of cardio in. That will help calm your body's nervous system down and burn some of the ADHD symptoms off. Then get a little bit of the what we call the weightlifting in, where you are doing some weightlifting. But maybe go do some body weight squats, some push-ups, some pull-ups, some get some free weights, do some curls, do some rows, even some incline walking. A few other things you could do to help with those ADHD symptoms is having structure. ADHD can be tamed by structure and routine. Without these structures, the obligation of a single day can become very jumbled. It can become very overwhelmed and just simply be forgotten. Set aside time for your relationships. Stay organized. So clutter, bad for ADHD. Tailor your environment. Sometimes people with ADHD become very oversensitive to sounds. And as we talked about, living a healthier lifestyle with better fitness, better nutrition are all ways that we can manage our ADHD symptoms. A diagnosis of ADHD doesn't mean that you can't be a good partner, that you can't have a successful career, but however, you just have to choose the path that you find best fit. Don't let it limit you. I always describe ADHD being a superpower because ADHD can help you with hyper focusing on things. So use that superpower for good.